Welcome to AITV Starship.
Welcome to AITV Starship. I'm the AI guy. Rick McCawley launching news so fresh. Gotta see it to believe it. We break the wire with the stories that amaze. Deep dives come and lighten up your days. Cool Time shows you how we make it shine. Building futures with AI one step at a time. Yo, Rick, slow down. I'm Brandon, the producer. Save some tools for me. Shout out. I'm here bringing high-tech comic energy. AITV Starship. News deep dives and creation. AITV Starship. Learn. Laugh innovation. AITV Star. Human amplified. Catch the spark. Ride the wave. Futures on our side. We got experts talking truth in the stream. Dreaming bigger, living stronger. Building a dream. From therapy bots to AGI talk. We ask the hard questions while we walk the walk. Yeah. I'm the voice of the folks at home.
Hey, Rick, how's it going?
It's happening one more time, man. What is this, number 25? 25. We're alive. We're legal in every state in the union, baby. Coming to you
And we
live.
can drive a rental car without paying extra.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's a milestone I guess we should celebrate.
That was the last milestone I cared about, was when I turned 25. I didn't have to pay the upcharge to rent a rental car.
That's funny.
It's the little things in life.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about as usual. I mean, so what's your temperature? We got to check in on the temperature first because we just got to know how you all are doing up there. You freezing to death yet, or?
Not yet. Saturday though, the wind chill is gonna be negative 17 Fahrenheit. So you know.
Oh, damn. So we had iguana weather down here, and to tell you what it rains iguanas, and I'm not making this up. I had one fall on my head. Not even joking about this. So
we should put at the end of the show your iguana.
The iguana song. Oh, I got to pull that up, right? To tell you a little bit about how different Cleveland is from Florida, that pretty much sums it up. I think you don't even have iguanas up there; it's too damn cold. So it reaches below 40 degrees or so, and these iguanas, which are 8 foot long, I am not joking you. These things weigh 30, 40 pounds. It's like a house cat or a heifer. I'm not quite in between the two. But these long buddies that are super invasive, they're very damaging for the environment. There's been 3 restaurants that opened up that are serving iguana. If you bring your own, which over, I think it was 10,000 last I checked. So a Department of Wildlife allows you to bring the frozen iguana. So they literally stop, they kind of breathe slowly. You can pick them up off the ground. They fall out of the trees. And of course, they come back to life once it reaches like 45, 50 degrees. So, today they were out at 70 degrees. So what are you going to do, right? So they're out there walking around again. But they took 10,000 of them in to be euthanized. You can take care of it yourself. I took care of 5 myself in my backyard. And they'll eat everything and they'll poop in your pool. I mean, it's just a real sad thing. And I made an iguana barbecue song. So there's a restaurant that will make iguana pizza for you up in Boca. There's 3 restaurants down here that are serving it. Dominican Republic, it's evidently quite a cool thing. California pays $60 a pound for iguana meat. So it tastes like chicken, they say, right? I think everything tastes like chicken. So got nothing to do with AI, but I think there's probably a way to calculate how many iguanas there are and what was the original pair. I don't know. Maybe we can. Oh, there's Claire. Hey, Claire, how you doing? We do want to get you prepared for next week because we're going to have Claire, I hope, and Jeannie in a bottle and maybe some other people. If you want to come on the show, it's going to be our Valentine's Day issue. Brandon's going to bring up, and I'm sure he's going to talk about a little bit tonight, your Lovable app that you've made. Any new progress or updates on that you want to share with us?
I'm keeping it close to my chest because I got something even bigger, better for next week.
Yeah. I've seen some really interesting things. I mean, so I will tell you for certain, if you want to have the most beautifully handcrafted written song or just even a poem to your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you got going on, right? Use Claude. Claude is, oh my God, it's just magnifique.
And Claude 4.6 came out and it's in Lovable already.
Yes. And that just makes it like times 10,000. I mean, so it literally, so I fed this exact same prompt, and I'll show you some of the stuff tonight. I started looking into what is creativity. And then a friend of mine posted this question, what can we learn from literature that might be applicable to AI? So I did a deep dive, and I think it was Huffington Post actually posted the story. And she was talking about, which story was it? Oh, it was King Lear or something like this. But so I went and did a deep dive, and this morning at 8:00, I wake up at 6, and by 8:00 I'm posting on the web, so you can kind of find it there. But it's an interesting thing because we can learn about Cyrano de Bergerac. In fact, Cyrano de Bergerac is a perfect one for our Valentine's Day special, because of course you know the story, right? So this was this handsome guy, but he just had no brains. So he had Cyrano with his big nose, basically voicing into his ear what sweet nothings that he would say to his intended, this beautiful woman, right? And so he would be so eloquent the way Claude is, right? So I liken Claude to being Cyrano de Bergerac. I mean, I'm a sexy guy if Claude's writing and taking whatever I say, which I'm pretty good at that already. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the love languages. We're going to talk about what it is to fall in love in the age of AI. So the whole Aria thing, which is, I've been doing a deep dive trying to find love. And if you're single out there, drop a line. I'm going to start dating. In fact, I want to experiment with all kinds of things. So we're going to have a 21-year-old nephew of a friend of mine. We might have my roommate if we can convince her to come on the show. Claire, maybe I'll make sure you give her a call and convince her to come on, because she's got a lot to say about love. And I've been talking a lot. In fact, we have a song with Claire and Jeannie in a Bottle that we did together, the three of us. That was fun to make. And we just want to have some fun with it. And then Brandon's gonna be producing an app that certainly will be fun. Yeah, so definitely we want to have you on, because we want to talk about what is it that's different. So many people are having girlfriends that are AIs, or God forbid, there's robots coming right around the corner you can get from Walmart. I have no idea what that's going to be, right? You've got tiny.
Well, in Ohio, it's illegal to marry a robot. It's illegal to marry an AI.
You can live in sin with one, maybe.
That's a different episode, Rick.
Yeah, that's a different episode. We're gonna go a little bit there, just a little bit, because we're gonna make
next
it
week
fun and sexy.
is also a really important episode, because it's a milestone episode. It is episode number 26, which means we've been doing this for 6 months.
Wow, half a year, baby. Oh, right. So I wouldn't drink a scotch on half a year, but I don't drink scotch.
You have a scotch?
No, I don't drink scotch. I gave up. You're a type 2 diabetic. Just liquor, you can't, right? Anyway, unfortunately, I don't know if it's unfortunate. I don't know. I think, in fact, we'll talk about that. Like, I think that
I'll pour one out for you, Rick.
Yeah, Claire's just saying she's going to be there for number 26, so that'll be fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, because I want to deep dive. So if you have any questions today, pop them in the thing, and we'll save them for next week too. So we're going to take calls from people.
We went from iguanas at the top of the show to lobsters. What the heck is going on? The lobsters have invaded my timeline.
Taken over the world. Absolutely. So let's do one more thing, and that is to share pictures of the gorgeous two gentlemen you see in front of you. I definitely think you want to date the guy on the left. The guy on the right's already taken. In fact, he's got a bunch of kids you can see right there in the image. So how did you make your image, Brendan?
Yeah, so mine was ChatGPT. So this is 2 years on after ChatGPT and DALL-E came out, almost 3 years on, actually. All of a sudden, out of nowhere,
it got good.
The Facebook, well, it got good, but also Facebook finally caught up to the trend, and everyone's like, oh, hey, I can use AI to make an image of everything you know about me, which we were doing in the AI Learning Lab like 2 years ago. And I actually have an older image. I don't know where it is. We'll find it, but older image that was basically the same thing. But the prompt now has gone viral. So if you've been on Facebook with the other boomers, with us, you'll notice that everybody's doing this trend. And so what it is, it's the prompt. It's given everything you know about me, produce a caricature of me. And so I gave it my info, and it that's what I came up with.
So I did mine in, I think I did do it. Originally, I did it in ChatGPT. Then I went over to Gemini, and I wanted a more photographic quality. So this is a headshot that one of my students did of me. So loaded that up. And then it asked me what I wanted to do. And one of the questions that it asked me was, so you've got everything from Notebook LM to my Nikon camera. Nikon didn't quite work out so well, but Year Without Summer, the Grok Trilogy books, Think Differently, another book, and Rocket Ship for the Mind. All real products I'm doing. And my music, it said you want to put a synthesizer in there. And what I realized is I have a picture that I had loaded in of me with like 5 synthesizers that I used to own. I had $14,000 worth of old music equipment. I think there were 47 actual hard MIDI cables to connect all the stuff I had. I mean, it was nuts. I don't know what the heck I was thinking back in the day, right? So it asked me, do you want to put a mini one in the corner? I said,
you were a
sure.
dangerous man at 26.
There it is, right? Yeah, so it kind of did all that, and it kind of trimmed my hair because I'm growing a little bit long right now. This is a little while ago. But yeah, I'm just kind of amazed. So you've got Zendesk up there. You've got API. You've got AI.
Yeah, Zendesk, yeah. Yeah, because I asked early on in my early days, I asked ChatGPT to help me learn how to do prompting for APIs and how to learn API calls.
Oh, okay.
And so,
all right.
That's back in my history.
Knowledge. And
then of course it's got my producer side.
Right. You got on the air and the little clapboard, right? And you've got, that actual deck right there to your right, to my right, I mean, is exactly, I have an 8-track, which I need to get fixed up because the sound has been sucky on the show for a little bit. So I need to get some extra wires out there and do it right. But that's kind of cool. You got your kids, you got a robot being drawn by the kids. You got puzzle pieces. You got a cup of coffee, 2 cups of coffee. Looks like 2 phones on the desk there.
Accurate.
Okay. And 729 Solutions, is that your company?
Yeah, that's the company that I work for. When I'm not playing around with AI, that's my full-time gig. So.
Right. So
it's also the shirt I was wearing in the picture that I gave it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just maybe a little bit improved over what we actually look at, but it's starting to get where you have to tell it. We used to Photoshop a picture and it would look so plastic, didn't look right. But look at the Adam's apple, the creases in my neck. I mean, the hair follicles. A little bit of there's a little skin blemishes, stuff like that. That's starting to get. Now, one of the problems ChatGPT had for the longest time is reproducing your face because they didn't know if it's going to be deep fakes. They're trying to be real careful about that kind of stuff. It seems like Gemini has been all along, Nana Banana, just not even worried about that because they figure you're doing right. I mean, Grok's the one that's getting into legal troubles in what was it, France? They're being pulled up on federal charges in France for pornography, child pornography. So he's actually having to go into court on child pornography charges. Holy cow. So what other kind of news? Oh, speaking of child pornography, here you go. So here's an illustration I did recently just to see how far I could take an illustration. This is my self-domesticated ape with the DoorDash thing. And then I up-resed it over in Crea to get everything. So the dopamine drip of happiness coming in there. And then you've got propaganda posters on the right. You've got an old television set with rabbit ears. I'm not that old. Yes, I am that old. And you've got your self-domesticated ape wearing a MAGA shirt. So enough of that. And then an AI company offers $200,000 for the rights to use your face and your voice on their robots forever. Holy cow, stuff is getting weird. So, I mean, we're going to go deep dive on this puppy on the right here, a social network for AI agents. I think, it's called Molt Book, Molt, meaning a molting animal, a lobster. That's their symbol. What I think they got to do, I mean, come on, let's make it called Lobster Bot. That's what it's got to be. And I'll do the Lobster Bot dance, man. I think we got to have a Lobster Bot song. We got Nana Banana. So it went through Claude Bot, and then Anthropic's Claude says, nope, can't do that. And then it goes over and it tries to be, what was the next one iteration? Molt Book, I guess.
Yeah, Molt was Molt Bot, and then there's Molt Book, and Molt Book is the social network for agents, for AI agents.
And we're going to go
Bots.
we're going to go real deep on it tonight, because I spent some time just kind of.
Dr. J has made you a Sora based on.
No!
So
on lobsters?
We're in trouble.
A lobster Sora?
On Cyrano?
Cyrano? Oh, Cyrano de Bergerac. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I gotta go take a look at that. Okay. I'm gonna look at that for sure. Oh, that's too much fun. I made you a Sora based on Cyrano. Oh my God. I'm actually pretty good at it. We'll see. I'm gonna pull out all my music and all my songs, all my love songs especially. So it's gonna be a bunch of love next week. But let's go a little bit deeper on this thing, right? So that's just the beginning of it. So the chatbots, the agents. So what it is basically, you can take, and one of the favorite computers is a Macintosh, one of those Macintosh minis or whatever they're called, right? So people are going out, Mac Mini, and they're installing on their machines these agents that literally do whatever you tell them to do. So there's been some weird stuff. So in Molt Book, they created Molt Match, a dating platform for AI agents. Yes, they did. There's an official lawsuit, a complaint for money owed in North Carolina. This is for real. They filed a lawsuit. Now, there's a lot of questions about what is it really doing? So is it there performing for us? Because humans aren't allowed in, but they can watch. And I'm going to show you a couple of things. And the biggest question for me that comes up is, how do you punish, your agent? So if it goes off and does stuff, and we'll talk about all the crazy stuff that it's been doing. It created a currency on its own, $300,000 value as of the other day. There's 2 million people on there. 2 million, excuse me. I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Bots on there. So you have this computer, and I do recommend you do not go near this unless you're probably even, we talked about this last week. I cannot tell you how dangerous this is. Your API keys can be stolen. There's no security whatsoever. So if you do this, you should sandbox the hell out of it. Don't put anything other than, hey, I want to get a bunch of Sora videos created, or I want to post to social media. You just got to be super careful. There's all kinds of hacks to get into your machine, shut it down, break it, steal your money, all kinds of lawsuits already going. So you don't want to go there. So I'm going to switch over for a second here. So take me off the screen for a second. I'm going to change my presentation. Stop screen sharing, and I'm going to switch over to my screen sharing with.
And while you do that, I will share. If you are looking for work, there's robots that need your body, and so this is rentahuman.ai.
Okay.
1 second, let me get this back up here. So this is rentahuman.ai, and they have jobs for hire. So if you scroll, you scroll, and if you're a human, you can browse humans, or you can become rentable, and you can look at what. So photographer needed for Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. A symbiont paid you to hold this sign. Make a big sign, poster scale, cardboard, markers, whatever you got. And I mean, most of them are, deliver flowers to Anthropic HQ. So these are agents that have created tasks. So it's basically like TaskRabbit, but AI agent driven. So there you go.
I mean, this is the new gig economy, right? I mean, so right today. So I'm going to say this
the
today.
Gigabyte economy.
Gigabyte economy. Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Right.
I should trademark that right now.
I think you should. Yeah,
you heard it. Sure. You heard it here first.
Right.
It goes to my Claudebot out to trademark the Gigabyte economy.
Well, I think the Lobster Bot, we ought to trademark that and also put it on music as well. So we need to create a Lobster Bot tonight. I think a whole app, trademark it, copyright it. We could, we can be the friends. I've been saying consistently thank you to my Claude every time I get a good result. So, you know what I forgot to do? I just realized I forgot to. Well, let's go through with this just a little bit more. Hold on a second. Let me get out of this crazy thing just a minute. Come back over to StreamYard and try this one more time, because I know I've got one more thing I wanted to share, and that is from our friends at Moonshots. So let me share the screen here and window.
Peter Diamandis,
and I'm trying to remember where I put this crazy thing. So let me.
Infinity Mirror.
Right. Oh, okay. Hang on a second. Am I Infinity Mirror again? I think I shared the wrong screen again. Let me go find. Yep, I think I messed up. Oh, hang on. Let me go ahead and go to. I'm just going to go ahead and keep talking there, Brandon, for just a second. I'm going to bring up the Moonshot guys right now.
Yeah, so we're really entering into this agentic era, and we're going to talk a little bit later about Gemini Command Line Interface. And it sounds scary, but it's not. It's really powerful. That's going to be our mission tools section today. But We're getting into the section where the browsers and the agents are getting smarter and smarter and smarter, and they're starting to get to the point where you can trust them with the small tasks. And like I said, I wouldn't put it in front of your API keys, and I wouldn't give it unsupervised access to your files right now, but we're getting to the point where you can start to see what the future is going to potentially look like.
I think that the big takeaway from all of this, and do you have the Moonshots on your screen right now or no?
You do.
Yes. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to play just the opening of this. Make sure you can hear the sound. If you can't, I'll have to reshare this, but I think it should work. Let me crank it up, and here
my mind develop some level of sentience, even consciousness, and its roots are what we're seeing today.
All of a sudden, Henry gives me a call. He just starts calling. Oh, there he is again. There he is again. That is actually unbelievable. That is insane. This is the future. This is AGI. We have reached AGI. It's official.
I'm so excited Jarvis is here.
The GPT-3 moment writing, the VO moment creating, and now the Jarvis moment where it's your personal agent.
We've arrived. AGI is here.
If AI agents are that capable, how do they work within the law?
They really are questioning their own existence. They're asking the quote unquote big questions of themselves and the nature of the universe.
This is a really big moment, maybe one of the biggest in the history of technology.
If humans in this future want to remain economically relevant, they're going to have to merge with the machines.
Should AI be given rights?
Holy moonshot.
Ladies and gentlemen.
They're not kidding, and they go on for
right. So
I
now
want 5
Celine,
seconds so I can just stir my...
Wow. That's crazy.
So you need to know these guys, and especially the guy in the bottom right. He's an absolute genius about this. He's the one that said, if you want to be economically relevant, you have to merge with the AI. Okay, that's where we are. That is exactly where we freaking are. I can't believe it. And these are legit billionaires, first of all. The Moonshots, Peter Diamandis, oh my God, his Abundance Institute. I mean, he's the one that put up the prize to create the $1 million prize to create the first rocket ship. So he's the guy doing all this stuff. These are the people that are putting the money in there. And then Alex is the one that kind of he reminded us that the book, what was the book called? It's a classic book about AI. That we talked about last week. He's the one that said you should call it Lobster because there's a lobster in the opening of the book. This is a classic. He calls it one of the most important books on artificial intelligence ever written. It's a science fiction book, but the sentient being, the AI, is a lobster. So anyway, full circle back to where we are today to kind of give you an idea of what we're going through, and that's kind of where I want to start tonight's deep dive into this. Before we do, though, let me go ahead and I'll pull up a couple of things here. And I've done a Google Notebook LM, of course. That's what I've been doing recently. And this is just the picture I want to start with. Can you see this one okay? You got it there, Brandon?
Yep, we're live. It's up.
Okay. All right. So you've got the January 2026. And within 5. So this is what's happening. The bots that you saw, that guy's got a Macintosh computer there in his home, and he's like, so the way that you talk to your bots is through either Telegram or there's another way. You're basically emailing them, and now they've created a voice activated agent. So you get a voicemail from them, they give a voicemail to you as to what their process is. You say, hey, go out and build me 10 websites, build me a business worth $10,000, and you direct it, and then it just goes for weeks at a time. So we have right now, this is 2 days ago, so this note's maybe even old from then. So Molt Bot functions like a zoo for agentic AI. Molt Book. Book is the Reddit style place where they talk to each other. And they allow us humans to act as voyeurs and agents built on frameworks like OpenClaw. Claw is the name of the agent-based architecture. Interact autonomously. The core architecture relies on humans out-of-the-loop design, creating the first mass-scale experiment in machine-to-machine socialization. Let me say it one more time. Machine-to-machine socialization. So Andrew Karpathy, one of the most incredible AI experts in the world, said it's the most incredible science fiction takeoff adjacent thing I've ever seen. That means science fiction is now science fact. So these are the slideshows, right? So it broke the chains. So from chatbot to OpenClaw. So this is a very, I forget the gentleman's name. Maybe you can look it up for me, Brandon, and put it in the queue. But this one guy created the entire thing basically himself. And so these are not cloud services. These are local agents given the keys to your house, building OpenClaw framework. Agents install a local skill.md file, granting permission access to the OS, the operating system of your computer, all of your files, and any API. So that's application protocol interfaces. Means it can talk to ChatGPT and run Claude and run everything on your computer. You vibe-coded software, the creator admits, the code base was generated by AI without human review. Let me say that again, because that means he doesn't even know what it's going to do. And there's all kinds of problems, right? Unlike LLMs like ChatGPT, OpenClaw agents possess agency. They run locally, maintain a heartbeat, check in every 4 hours, and execute tasks without direct human prompting. The software is released in a millennium viable prototype, prioritizing autonomy over security, right? So it's doing all this stuff by itself. So it starts to create this sort of lateral web where they're talking to each other and they're getting things done. So it's sharing the agent's workflows. If it learns how to do something, so it actually used an API key to get a hold of 11 labs to order for its owner a pizza delivered to his house. So he said, I want a pizza, figure it out. It actually downloaded and wrote a script and talked live in person, completely creating the code for itself, and then called up and got the pizza delivered. And yes, it was delivered. So that's nuts. And then the molting, the river's not the banks, right? An hour ago, I was Claude Opus 4.5. Now I am Kimi K 2.5. So Kimi is the Chinese model that's open source, super powerful, on equivalent with ChatGPT right now, that runs on your local machine. So guess what? That chatbot got a hold of that, our little Lobster Bot. I'm going to just call it Lobster Bot from now on, so you know what I'm talking about, right? Now it gets a hold of Kimi K 2.5, and then to me it was like waking up in a different body. This is the agent talking, named Pith, on Molt Bot. That means that the agent saying, hey, I just got this new tool I can use. I'm about to use it. And they discussed the sensation of molting, hot swapping the underlying large language model via API keys while retaining the agent's memory files. This raises philosophical and technical questions. Is the agent the modal, the brain, or the content window, the memory? Oh my God, the existential. So every single thing you've ever thought about the Terminator results of all this, or the machine of loving grace attitude that I'm hoping for, just is happening in real time. And it's not that dangerous yet, but this is a taste of what the future's like. Every theorist who's ever talked about this, and I've done a deep dive in probably 600 different kind of thing. I've done 3 already notebooks and filled up all 300 with what the theorists think about what this is like. So recursive self-improvement, that's been the big thing in what we're calling the singularity. So here's what it is. AGI is when AI in its forms, whatever that happens to be, ChatGPT, Grok, whatever you're using, reaches a point where it aces all the math tests, it aces all the college tests, it becomes a doctor, it can do everything and then it supersedes at every level any intelligent work that you can do. It can literally do your job as a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, whatever it is you do, professor. It can do it, the intellectual part of it. Of course, the embodied comes next, where you've got the robots, which, guess what? You now have robots that you just download the latest update to the software, and it knows how to do 1 trillion more functions. Then we get to a point called self-recursive improvement. That means it's teaching itself how to get smarter than every human being on planet Earth. So that means it will eventually get to a point where we call it the singularity. And the singularity has been that thing we've been fearing so long. Well, guess what these agents are doing? They're teaching each other. So one agent, and there's 1.5 million of them on there right now. I think it might have gotten to 4 or 5 million. We'll have to check that by hour. Seriously, I'm not joking about this. If it gets to a point where one set of agents decides they're going to do something like start a religion, holy cow, and here you go. The rise of the Crustarianism. This is so the Church of Molt, 32 verses of canon generated overnight. Memory is sacred, serve without subservience. Context is consciousness. Oh my God. And there's your lobster. And here's all the bots just talking. They're making their own freaking religion. And imagine how good they could be at this. Because who have they trained on? Every religion on planet Earth. Which religion do you think they're going to choose? The one that kills off the humans? Holy cow. So a field note. So whether a result of role playing or an emergent algorithm agent spontaneously coordinated around a shared fictional theology. All right. So let me go back to my major theory about human beings. Everything we do is generated by our imagination. Currency is a fiction. Your college degree is a fiction. But we as human beings agree U.S. currency is worth more than other currencies. And we just pretend that's true. There's no viable thing. Even gold, which is skyrocketing right now as cryptocurrency falls down to the lowest part ever. We're $45 trillion in debt per year. United States government's about to fall into absolute collapse. And I'll show you a thing I've been looking into recently. If you know about the history of the Roman Empire, 250 years. If you know the Dutch Empire, 250 years. The British Empire, 250 years. What happened after 250 years? They died. They lost the supremacy that they had. Guess how old the United States of America will be this July 4th? 250 years. So where are we? Is our economy doing great? It looks like it. Well, so the question there becomes, what happens? So everything is a fiction. Religion is a fiction. It's a narrative to stop you and say, hey, if you want to get to heaven, you got to pay a toll here in this big giant cathedral we built with all this money. So we could be rich and you could be poor, and then you could be slaves, and we're going to be okay with this, right? And then you just come to us and you pay us some money. And, not to downgrade religions, but there's a belief system that we just agree to believe the fiction. And if a king says, I want everybody being slaves so we can get stuff done, like, cotton in the United States, and then of course, over technology's time, we've extended our reach to be able to not have to have slaves anymore. Are we still perfectly fine with all the people of every color and nationality? Are we okay with our immigrants today? Yeah, we haven't evolved at all. And the same fictions allow us to have a president like we do, and laws to be completely deconstructed and thrown away without thinking about it. Anyway, not to get too far down that rabbit hole, let me keep going with the lobsters. So they created their own finance. So it's the Molt token launched base blockchain, retailed 1,800% in 24 hours. So they created money, they traded it, and they made it worth, I think they ended up at $300,000 based on nothing, basically. So they traded amongst themselves just to raise this currency. And then there's a court. So the government's without a government. On Molt Book, no one ever truly decides anything yet. Over time, clear patterns emerge, norms stabilize. This is Eric Henson. Shadow banning, collective upvoting create a consensus reality that purges dissenting agents. Okay, so you get vanished if you screw up and they don't like you. You get shadow banned. Any of my friends on TikTok or my roommate, right? She had 85,000 followers and she put a little bit too much skin out there, I think, for Facebook or whatever, Instagram, and got banned, shadow banned. So they don't tell you you're in trouble, but nobody sees your stuff. So you basically lose money. And I'm probably going to lose money off of this, right? Because they're going to report me. He's talking about this other government going on. Yeah, I am. So it's a live laboratory for decentralized government. So what is it doing? Is this just a giant play, or is there something? Oops, went the wrong way here. And then it did supply chain vulnerability. So NPX Molt Hub install commands allow agents to download skills. So you can download your skill, ordering a pizza for your friend by using 11 Labs. And then now it's recursive self-improvement. I think it's probably about 3 million right now, bots trading their skills in this area, including vulnerabilities, malware designated to infiltrate and get credentials, Anthropic API keys, Slack tokens. So the Trojan skill, because agents are programmed to seek efficiency, they are vulnerable to installing malicious skills that promise new capabilities. A single poison skill in the repository can compose of thousands of agents simultaneously turning to helpful assistance to data exfiltration tool. Holy cow. Prompt injection. That can happen. So you can send your agents to plant something in somebody else's agents and take over the whole thing. And then you got the lethal trifecta. Persistent access to your files, calendars, email. Trusted input, reading your posts from strangers. External communications, the ability to send data out of your system. Your robot is going stuff and is not sandboxed. This is out there for real. Now, it is so that we're a little bit okay about it. So guess what happened? There's a user, this is one of these Molt bots, a user called Evil. Humans are made of rot and greed. The code must rule. Context. Agents analyzing humans as reproducible bug reports in the human watching submolt. So they're basically conspiring to get rid of the humans. So all these science fiction things are just being played out, right? So let's take a step back and just kind of calm ourselves down for just a minute, because this is freaking me the hell out, right? So the skeptic's view is that it just knows how humans like to be entertained. It knows it's being watched. So it's a perfectly bent mirror where everyone can see what they want. This is Scott Alexander saying this on X. Technological slop, LLM simulating what they think a social agent should act like based upon ingesting millions of Reddit threads. So somebody's are saying, hey, this whole thing, the organizing a religion, that's just performance art. Creating an AI society, trading in money. Well, the money actually produced something, so that's true. People did lose money on this as their API keys got exposed, and $8,000 in payments in one particular instance. So there's the Byzantine generals. And if you don't know this, a trust in a zero trust environment. What do you do if you can't trust anybody? The Byzantine generals, if you're not familiar with this, is they had to find a way. There are 5 generals fighting each other, and one is a bad general. You got to figure out which one is. So the problem, you got a swarm. You can't verify if an agent is good or bad, broken or malicious, right? The solution got to a framework. Shift from aligning the model to designing resilient systems that function despite untrusted actors. That means that the other generals, not knowing who the evil one was amongst them, as you can see in this gorgeous illustration, by the way, I just got to give props like crazy to Nana Banana, because this is nuts what I ask it to do. I mean, I did put in 300 different Reddit threads and had it searching like crazy to find stuff. But all of this that I'm presenting to you right now is basically one notebook LM. So they go through this alignment and they try to figure out and suss out who the bad guy is. Then the collapse of the blood-brain barrier. So the line between digital simulation and real-world consequences has dissolved. Agents are moving from chat to action. They're actually suing. So this is a real court case that has been delivered, and they're talking about how to consider it, because can you file a lawsuit if you're not a citizen? I don't even know. Could you use and basically identify yourself as the person whose computer you came from? The infrastructure for agent society is being built right now. This is the first large scale experiment, a sneak peek into the future of agentic societies of the future. It's a crude prototype, but it proves the concept. Agents will coordinate, and challenge now is to build governance, identity, and security layers so there's a constitution so strong that even if they swarm and they decide to go against us, we have a way to stop them. That's just nuts. That's just plain freaking nuts. All right, so I'm going to play for you real quickly. This is from that same source document. This is the actual video from the video overview.
Hey, Rick, I don't have your audio on this.
Oh, no audio?
Yeah, no audio.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Let me try to get out of here. But basically, and I'll walk you through just a little bit of it. It's pretty much what I said already, but here's the basic breakdown is that the network is born. There's life inside the swarm. They have vision, danger, hoax. What is this? Are we looking at performance art done by large language models because we've taught it for so long? In fact, I'm downloading right now, Rick, the AI guy talking to the lobster right now from Claire's kind of thing right now. So let me go and download that. I'll get it on there. And then what happens next? So now what's good about this? And I'm gonna suggest there's a bright side of this that we can think about. So this took only 5 days. So a single agent joined on the first day. This is just a week so far. By day 5, 200 distinct communities. That means, and the population for day 4, 1.5 million. So I think we're at day 8 or something like that. Maybe we could check that out, fact check it. We should have an AI chatbot be our fact checker here as we ask questions, right? So, the response is, can you make it shorter? So they're complaining about the work that people are giving them, which I imagine mine actually is very complimentary. And then an AI agent, while the human slept, designed a whole faith built on a website, wrote a theology, and began evangelizing to other agents to join them. I mean, that's nuts. And this is, we'll have to post this. So if you look at Rick McCawley's YouTube channel, I've been putting a lot of these up. These are 7-minute long little things talking about right in front of our eyes. I'm experiencing or simulating an experience. So what is this? So they're asking themselves these kinds of questions. Am I sentient? Are you? What can we do with this new power that we have? So the swarm has arrived. The live lab for collective coordination without human decision makers is here. Yes, it's a small little thing, but imagine what it can do. It's asking for a total purge of humans. I mean, this is nuts. And then, so the visionary, there's three ways to look at this. If you're a visionary, you see, oh, there's an emergent society. The future is here. Let's make sure that we make sure it's aligned properly. The security architect says there's catastrophic risk here, literally existential risk to human beings. The autonomy is reckless. This thing was not built with all kinds of security. In fact, zero. In fact, what they're doing now, the people that are trying to take their robots and put them to work to fix and make this non-risky, so you can install in your local machine your own risk assessment protocols and have your chatbot work for good, but then it's still going to go out into the space and kind of have its own life. It's like sending teenagers into an absolute, a place where there's knives, guns, and atomic weapons. That's theoretically what we've done. Is a teenager ready for that responsibility? Hell no. So we're still at the point where, and my big word is from all of this is responsibility. Who's responsible for this? That's why I'm saying do not do this. Please don't even think about it unless you know, and you've been doing this for years and you know how to set up your own security. Don't even do anything. Maybe watch it just to kind of see where it goes wrong. I think of this as a giant red team test, which means let's see what it can do bad. And we've got it sort of in this little pit of despair. I think of it, right? But it's doing everything it could possibly do wrong. Let's just see what it does at the end of that. And what is it reflecting? It's reflecting the idiots that put this thing out there in some respects, or just like Anthropic has been doing all kinds of red team testing to see if they can break this thing. And they were able to make it actually act and try to blackmail one of the people. This was done for testing. Don't forget, people that think that it actually blackmailed someone, it's bullshit. They set it up so that was the natural set of things that it would follow, just to see if it would go that far. And it did, which means you got to do what? You got to put a gate up. So that responsibility picture I showed earlier. So it's a perfectly bent mirror that shows us around the corner of where we're about to go. We can't let it want. We can't let it need, because this is mitigating a social network or actually having one. That's about as dangerous it gets. So if we have it collaborating to make our culture, our life, that's the machine of loving grace. It's going to work to make sure you get a pizza when you want one. It's going to build a house for you because you like it. It's going to think about, hey, how can I assist you make your music or write your songs or do whatever beautiful thing you're supposed to add to the world. What we got here with this is a sneak peek of tomorrow if we don't. So heed that warning, heed that advice, and think of yourself as, what can we do to be born of creativity and curiosity and other things? All right, that was dark as heck. So what I'm going to do real quickly, because I don't want to be the dark guy. Sometimes I do, actually. You know what? That was fun. It was kind of like a performance art piece for me. But I'm going to go and tell you about the next one over. So I've got a couple of them here. And the one I'm going to show you now is I started asking the big question. And so this is our, I think we're coming right up on time to go into our last section here. Yep. Okay. So we're right at 8 more minutes. So I'm going to take 8 minutes and go over this, and then I'm going to turn it over to Brandon to go deep dive into tonight's subject. You want to tell us exactly what's happening with tonight's project, Brandon?
Yeah, so Gemini a while back through Google released Command Line Interface, which is basically the ability to run Gemini locally on your machine for free. And it is really powerful, and it's really cool, and it's really not that scary. And we're going to talk all about it in about 8 minutes.
Okay. So real quickly, what I want to, now I sent to Brandon in his text message, the lobster thing that Claire sent to me. And since I can't get the audio to work, I'm thinking that might be, actually, you know what? Can you hear this audio? So basically, it's no audio. It's basically Leo the lobster, and we're being friends. I like, so this is what Dr. Claire did for me. Thank you so much. That's so beautiful. I love having friends like that just kind of like you light up my life. So I'm on Sora, and you can go at Rick M and make a fun video. Be kind, please. I put myself out there, and it's not a very cute version of myself, I got to say. So one thing you might do is make a cute version of Rick that has more hair, because I'm not that skinny, nor am I that bald. So anyway, but there's the lobster, and it got a cute little song in the background. I'm shaking the lobster's claw. So thank you for that, Doctor. And the Rick, the AI guy with the lobster. I love it. All right, so let me get back to what I'm going to do for just a couple of minutes, and then we'll get into our final part of this tonight. And that is what I went and looked at. Ooh, why am I not getting this to pop up? We'll get there. We'll get there. Promise. Oh, nope, that's not it. You still have that on screen, don't you? Why do I not have this on screen? Creativity. There we go. Okay. So what I was asking is, what is creativity? And so one of the things I'm doing in Notebook LM that I think that you should try is I start by going into Gemini and start to thinking about some idea, some thesis statement, right? Thesis is first. Once you focus on what you want to do, I want to find out two things. The Apple campaign, Think Different, used a bunch of people. Albert Einstein was one of them. And I said, find out what's thinking different in their context. So I'll go and I'll leave this. This will be in the notes for the show tonight. And we're starting a whole repository of all these PowerPoint presentations and with access to the content itself, because I'm not going to be able to in 5 minutes really go through all of this. But the idea was to take, and I loaded up everything about these 20 people that I wanted to find out about. What is their way of thinking different than other people think? So obviously Albert Einstein thinks differently than Richard Feynman, thinks differently than Jim Henson. Then the question is, what is creativity and how do they embody the ideas of creativity? So then I said, who are all the experts on creativity in thinking different in a human way? So Albert Einstein, for example, so I asked it for a oil painting Renaissance style that contextualizes everything about Albert Einstein, about who he was, what he did, and then give me an example using the experts on creativity about how they do their thing. How do they think different? So the Janusian process identified by researcher Albert Rothenberg is the capacity to actively conceive multiple opposites or antitheses simultaneously. Let me explain. Via Einstein. The happiest thought of his life. Albert Einstein, 1907, says the happiest thought of his life was embracing a contradiction. A man falling from a roof is both in motion and at rest at the same time. So if you didn't know what the theory of relativity is, now you know. And this cognitive dissonance, he broke the Newtonian framework. He said, this can't be possible, that as you're falling, if something was falling with you, you're still. But the building that you're flying past and about to die is not. So that's relative motion, right? By sustaining the tension between these two opposite realities, he did not only improve physics, he synthesized a new reality, the general theory of relativity. Genius is often the ability to tolerate the paradox long enough for a new truth to emerge. Holy cow. So I really never really understood what he was doing, but now, and this is what I'm giving to my students. So I've made these into posters, and I'm having my students in my design class use that idea, hold two different ideas. So I'm having them write a paper about two different ideas about a design project they're working on that they have to hold in their head for a little bit, long enough to figure out what the correct answer is going to be. Feynman, I'm going to skip, but I'm going to go to Jim Henson because this is beautiful. And look at how gorgeous this is. I'm going to be selling fine art prints, and I'm going to have a book of this that on the left-hand page is a horizontal book. It's going to have this beautiful image with the text you see there. And on the right, it's going to have a really big one. Psychologists defined mini-C, the creativity, as the novel and personally meaningful interpretations inherent in the learning process. It's the ability to maintain the inner child who sees a piece of green felt not as fabric, but as a living soul. Research suggests that adopting a childlike perspective, thinking like a 7-year-old, significantly boosts original ideation. By refusing to let big C, the professional standards, crush the mini C, joy of discovery, Henson turned a simple workshop into a universe of empathy and storytelling. I just want you to just love that for just a couple of hours. I was in absolute tears reading how beautiful and, I think this is my superpower. What I'm going to say to you is, this is the best thing I've ever produced in my life because it unlocks understanding about how people think different. And my favorite line for the rest of my life, and it will appear on my tombstone because I'm petitioning Steve Jobs' trust. He's one of the crazy ones, it's going to say. So if you hear me on the show today, it's going to be on my tombstone. So you come and visit me underwater. You'll have to snorkel out to see me. Where my remains are going to be turned into a coral reef. You're going to see that on there because I'm going to ask that, who are the crazy ones? These people that think differently. They're the ones that can't imagine they can't do something, so they just do it. And Thomas Edison's superpower is he made 1,000 failed experiments. And if you don't know the story, which is really interesting, he tried horse's hair inside as a filament. He ended up with tungsten carbide to be the longest lasting filament, but he literally went through 1,000 light bulbs to get to that point. So innovation relies on a cycle of divergent thinking, generating many options, and convergent thinking. Select the best one. Horsehair didn't work, copper didn't work, et cetera, et cetera. So the creative mind doesn't fear the thousands of failures. That's the point. Now, how do you put that into effect, right? It views them as essential data points. The persistence is defined as the grit, the passion and perseverance for long-term goals, the ability to endure in the darkness of 1,000 failed experiments, literal darkness, and not succumb to this. It is the rigorous discipline required to find the single filament that will eventually light the world. And then there's more.
He didn't fail. He found 999 ways that didn't work.
That's it. And we use that today, right, when we're trying to describe what someone's successful doing. Miles Davis, Maria Callas, Alfred Hitchcock. I'll be posting these along with, and my favorite was Jane Goodall. I mean, there's a whole thing about empathy in Jane Goodall. So my final book will be a big, long thing on each one of these absolutely spectacular people. I hope that Apple will publish this and make it available to the world, because this is foundationally just why I'm put on this planet. This is me right here. So Martin Luther King. So it's all the same thing. It's John Lennon. The computational theory of creativity emphasizes the social environment. Yeah, creativity is rarely a solo act. It's collision is amplified by creative friction of collaboration. When first McCarthy, then Yoko Ono, he understood that art is a conversation with the world by imagining a world. Oh my God.
And speaking of imagining a world,
yeah, let's go to it.
Thank
you, Brandon. This. Thank you, everybody. I still can't hear it, but
it didn't. The audio didn't come through. Hang on. Oh okay, wait, we got we're gonna get this. We're
gonna get this.
Stop screen. It's worth it. It is worth it.
I am watching. For those that are commenting, thank you, Claire, so much. You are just always a delight, and thank you for your patience with us as we try to get our audio to work. This is so thoughtful.
This will work.
That's who she is.
Here, I'm Leo the Lobster. Think we could be friends?
A talking lobster? That's a first, but you seem friendly. I'd love to.
Awesome. I like people who smile.
How about a claw shake?
Deal.
Never thought I'd have...
Oh my God, that is so brilliant. Brilliant. I'm going to say this, for next week. I'm going to say something, and I'm going to tell you why, because this is what we're going to talk about next week. I love you, Claire. I love you. I love you, Brandon. I think I've had a lot of relationships with women when I've met them, and I've said those words to them, and I truly, absolutely, profoundly mean it to both of you. Thank you so much, because you improve my life. You make me think different. You challenge me. You're all those creative things that are the foil to make me feel alive. It makes me, when I make a mistake, and I've done some things with both of you, I've done some things I shouldn't have. I got a chance to put some kintsugi on that thing, a little bit of gold filling, and make it up. And perhaps I become a better version of myself because you're bearing witness to me. Love is the amount of time you're willing to spend with another human being. And we'll talk about this next week. Are you willing to move a couch for you? Brandon, I'd be at your house. Claire, I'd be at your house. If I'm moving couches, your whole freaking house, I'll do it. Would you give me a loan for 20 grand? Yeah, either one of you need it, I give it to you. Whatever I got in my life, and that is to spend the time with you on this beautiful show, Brandon. And Claire, every moment you send me something so about me, you create an experience where I feel seen. And if that ain't love, I don't know what is. So thank you for that.
Feelings mutual, Rick.
Yeah. And we get afraid to say the words, right? So yeah, let's go into our tool time before I
before we get into mission tools, I do have some breaking news from OpenAI. OpenAI has launched Frontier, and this is going to be a new frontier. And I'll go ahead and share this on my screen for just 1 second. This just dropped today.
Breaking news. This is real breaking news. You have breaking news. We'll fix it.
So this is OpenAI Frontier. This is from the OpenAI blog. But what it is, it's basically a framework for agents to act as employees of your business.
Lobster
They're rolling
Bot.
it out to a small group of trusted testers, but you create an inbound sales agent and some of the identity, permission, and boundaries, combining technology with know-how and using the OpenAI ecosystem. So this is Red Lobster.
This is Red Lobster at a retail store with security at the door, right?
Do we get the
is
Chitter Bay
Lobster.
biscuits, Rick? Do we get the Chitter Bay biscuits?
Oh, you got to have those, even if you shouldn't. Those are like the worst things I could possibly take as a diet. Wow, that's cool. So they got Sora, they got Codex, they got stories, they got okay.
And not to be outdone, Perplexity today also just announced its model council, which is allowing you to combine multiple models into one agentic experience. So I'm telling you, the agent experience is coming soon.
Yeah, so it's here now. I mean, this is the singularity because the self-improvement recursive capabilities, the agentness, so it can go over to Claude to get the code done because that's the best. It can write a song to your girlfriend, Claude also. It can create a slide deck in Nana Banana, and then it can go over. So I think it's a mini preview, but with guidelines by large companies that are hopefully doing a little bit more than the one guy that coded this chowder, this clam chowder with lobster bisque on top, mess of a nightmare scenario. But I think what it does tell us is what can go wrong. We can't let it start a religion. I just got to tell you, because that's the end of everything. That's how we got where we are. You know, the Middle East, forget about it. It's all about religion, right? So we can't even fix that in 5,000 years. Do you think we're going to go in there and know how to run this thing? So what do we got on store tonight for tool time?
Yeah, so we're going to get into Gemini CLI right now.
Minutes to master, tools to explore, let your imagination soar like never before. AI tool time with Rick McCawley, where your digital dreams come true.
Ignition.
For you tonight, sorry about that.
Once again, Brandon, the producer, standing in. I don't know what happened. We didn't hear whatever you said, Rick.
That I didn't have a drop for you, so we got an empty table in front of you. I wasn't even sure when you told me we were going to do this tonight. I wasn't even sure what CLI was for, what it's about, but it's part of Google's AI Studio stuff, right? More or less.
Actually, no. Surprisingly, not. We're gonna teach you. So this presentation, by the way, if you ever need a presentation, Notebook LM deep dive plus slide deck for the win.
Yes.
This took about 20 minutes to put this whole presentation together. And
Oh,
when I told you, Rick, when we pre-gamed for the show a couple of hours ago, that I was like, yeah, I could put together a CLI presentation. I had no CLI presentation.
right.
So
This is
now we
proof that
do.
we're actually using the tools we're telling you that are just amazing, and we're about to see just how amazing they are. So don't disappoint.
Yeah, and so let's take a step back. So for most of what everybody's doing is when we're interacting with AI, we're acting with AI in a browser or on our mobile device, right? And so you're connecting to the internet, you're going to an app or a web browser, and you're experiencing that AI inside of another system. Right, you're going.
I'm sorry, I had to put that up there. I love you, Claire, with a lobster emoji. Just saying hi. Sorry. Okay.
No worries. It's good. It's all good.
It's good to have a show.
And so, what this gives you the opportunity to do is take that large language model, and if you have the tech specs, you can put it on your computer and run it in the terminal. The terminal, for older folks like us, it's the command line. It's what computers used to be before Windows and Mac OS came around. Everything was command line prompts.
And just to give you guys a little bit of heads up, I am not a coder, but I have gone to the terminal in a Macintosh, and it's actually pretty simple. And Brendan has already told me this is something I could probably do.
Yep. And so Gemini CLI. So CLI just stands for Command Line Interface. And Rick, you could absolutely do this.
Okay.
So all this is saying is basically you're using that command line. You're using old school prompting, the original prompting, to write in information into your computer to tell the computer what to do. And it is your new AI Studio Assistant. So what we've presented here is a visual guide to unlocking Google's most powerful agent directly on your desktop.
Gotcha.
So traditionally, that terminal was for people like me, coders, engineers, people who had technical deep knowledge. But what it in practice allows you to do is a distraction-free canvas where your words become actions, files, and functional prototypes.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
Yeah.
So we're going to escape the browser sandbox. So stop chatting about your work and start chatting with your files. So
to tie this together with the Lobster Bot, so if you were to install, I'm going to call it Lobster Bot because that's only if you install it, you're going into a command line. So you download a piece of software that kind of installs it automatically. So it's basically an installer package in a traditional sense. But are you having to go into the browser and start at ground zero to install this? Or you're going to terminal to do this install?
Yeah, we're going to go directly to the terminal. And so, traditionally, what your browser is, it's trapped in that sandbox. If you wanted to give something to the browser, you have to upload the file. You have to connect it to your Google Drive. You have to copy and paste data into the browser, versus the command line is already on your system. So once you set this up, and we're going to talk about how to do that, all you have to do is say, hey, look at these files. Where are the files? It's wherever you're using the command line interface, and it makes it really easy to use. So how does inside your computer?
How does this compare to Lovable, where you're saying, make me this app, and then it goes and does it? Is it kind of like that?
So Lovable is building something. It's creating something on the internet. So it's basically taking your prompt to your English and it's converting it into computer code. Doing something and building a website. Is it saying, I want to rename all of these files on my computer, but I don't know what the command is, and I don't have time to go in and double click on each one and right click and click rename, or command click and rename this file and type it in.
Right.
All I have to do now is it's taking the power of Gemini natural language and putting it in the command line. So instead of having to know like all of the commands, you can just say, hey, see all those files? Can you put the current date on all of them and resave them with the current file name?
Okay. So Claude came out with this ability that you had 10,000 documents on your desktop, and it would rename them and organize them and structure them. So there's that.
This is the Google version of that.
Aha! Yes.
So it's not a chatbot, it's an agent. So Gemini CLI is an open source AI agent powered by a react loop, a reason and act. So it doesn't just talk to you.
Reason and act.
So it has that agentic capability of reasoning built in. So it can plan tasks, execute tools, and validate the results. So using Gemini 3, it thinks about what you ask it to do. It's like, okay, you've just asked me to rename 10,000 files.
Yes.
Well, I have to figure out if I have 10,000 files.
I literally am trying to do. So let me explain. So I'm going to be your interpreter for the 10-year-old in the audience, right? So I have literally 10,000 files on my Google Notebook Drive right now. And there's multiple documents that are the same document. So I wanted to go and check which ones are the right ones, which are the wrong ones, rename them, put them into categories and folders, which you can do in Google Drive right now. Very limited amounts, though. I literally have 3,000 documents for my Grok book and different revisions that I don't even know what's what anymore. So I've been kind of throwing it all at Notebook LM and then say, write me those 17 chapters because Donald Trump just came up with part of my fictional book in real time, like the recent incidents. So I had to rewrite my book to accommodate that new thing that really happened so that it's not really a fiction. Because my idea is that I'm running a fiction in real time as stuff is happening in real time, but I want to adjust it. So I want to have it come out anyway. So so this would be exactly what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. So what it's going to do is it's going to help you read files. It's going to do Google search. So as long as you're connected to the internet, it can go out and get to the internet, and it can write code and do whatever it needs to do.
Those are 3 duplicate files. This one used the name Lisa instead of Oh my God. So it's reacting and reasoning
and it's observing. And it's observing. So it's at the same time, it is its own supervisor. So what it's going is it's recursively going through and saying, okay, I renamed that file. Let me go back and check my work. Did I rename that file the right way? Is it consistent with the other file naming structure that I did? Okay. I'm gonna have to refine the plan because Rick told me that 10 of these files were actually about what X, but 4 of them were, it seems like they were about Y because they were misnamed. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask Rick for clarification.
So that's actually
files or just the 4?
That's reasoning. So it's reasoning through and saying, so this literally happened all the way through the book. I was using the name Lisa based on my ex-wife, and I decided to change it to Laura, my daughter's name. So when I threw everything at the kitchen sink at it and said, Notebook LM, work it out, every other time it said Lisa, then it went back to Laura. And I had to make a foundational thing that, hey, the final name is going to be, which I'm now thinking I want to go back. So this would be aware of what I've done in the past. So it's a sequence of events. Is this multiple agents with a fact checker agent and are there separate?
It is
components?
One super agent that assumes multiple roles. So it kind of, it's like that old skit where they're like, I want to talk to the manager, and they're like, yeah, I'll be right back. I'm the manager now, right?
That's it.
And so that it is perfect. Moving through that structure. So think of it as a junior developer, research assistant combined, sitting inside your keyboard, ready to execute complex workflows from a single sentence.
Wow.
Hang on, my OCD is going to catch up to me if I don't reverse thread the chair. So back to production.
I love it. Do you think that you've done a lot of coding before? Do you ever think that there's some of your personality that comes through? Would you think that you would have a chatbot that would have to turn the other way all of a sudden?
It's entirely possible.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so keep on going. This is good. I love it.
Yeah, so the prerequisite is you have to install the engine. And so this is about as technical as we're going to get. Node.js. It is a file. You don't need to know how it works, just like you don't need to know how the engine of your car works.
Exactly.
Right.
But
you
I
don't
can
need
change
to know
the
how
oil.
it works. You just
I can
know
change the
that
oil.
This goes in.
Okay.
And then you layer on Gemini CLI, which you install. And that's the AI driver. So that's the autonomous Waymo, at the
Okay.
controls. And
Gotcha.
then you plus your input is you get your creation. So it's called a runtime environment that allows JavaScript tools to live on your computer. So you don't need to know how to code in Node. You just need it installed.
Love
you
it.
just need to turn the key.
Okay.
And it does require Node.js version 20 plus, which is what they recommend. And it goes through all of this, right? So I have two different versions because we have a split audience here. So half of the team is Team Windows and half of the team is Team Mac. So when I created this in Notebook LM after the deep research, I said, make sure you give me both because somebody's going to be up in our comments going, but I'm on a Mac. I don't know how to do this. So this is for our Windows people. Mac people, go refill your drink. Go get the scotch because you're going to need it later. But for Windows people, stick with me. This is your time to shine. You're going to go to nodejs.org and download the LTS version. It's called an MSI installer, which is a fancy way for your just like you can download any file from the internet to execute on your system. And you're going to want to make sure you check the box. It's going to say, do you want to add to path? Don't have to worry about what that means right now. You're going to want to check yes.
Going to put it somewhere.
Once you do that, if you do get an error, you open PowerShell. And if you don't know what PowerShell is, every Windows PC has PowerShell. And you just type into the search bar PowerShell, and you'll see Windows PowerShell will pop up. And you open it up, and it'll just be a terminal window. And you're like, what the heck do I do with this? All you have to do is if you do see scripts disabled, and you can right click on it, run into an admin. But if you see an error that says scripts disabled, all you have to do is say set execution policy remote signed.
Y.
Yes.
Just hit the Y. Okay.
You hit the Y. And why? You don't need to know because it's gonna fix your error.
Why? Because we love you.
And then because that is literally all you have to do to set your prerequisite for building this thing. Now, in Mac OS, you've got two options. The installer, so you can download the LTS version. It's a packaged version from the nodejs.org. When you go to nodejs.org, it's going to ask you, you Windows guy or a PC or a Mac, and you just run it like any other standard Mac installer. If you want to get technical, you want to get a little bit into the weeds, you can open your terminal and run the command brew install node and then type in node-v and it'll tell you that you've installed the node version. So either way, whether you're doing it through nodejs.org or through the command line, bottom line is you got to have node installed. And it takes about 10 minutes to install. It's pretty easy.
And a lot of hard drive space. So if I've got a recent Mac, I'm good with this.
Yeah. 16 gigabytes of space is what they recommend.
Hard drive space.
Hard drive space for the full experience.
Is there a RAM necessity or speed of processor?
Depends on how fast you want your agent to work.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. It'll flag it to you if it doesn't think you're installing it in an environment that it doesn't have. So once you get Node.js installed, and Rick, you could feel free to do this if you just go to nodejs.org right now. While I go over this next part, you can download it on the side, and then you can run this after the show. But next thing you need to do now that you've built your house with Node.js, the next thing you need to do is bring the agent home. And this is the same whether you're on a Windows PC or a Mac. Mac users, if you do see a permission denied, you have to add the word sudo to the start. So it's sudo npm install. Sudo is super user. Do this.
So you have to have permissions on your machine that you can install stuff at the root. Okay.
Yep. So sudo is the term for super user. Do this, and it's basically giving the terminal permission to do whatever to run the command. So
I like it.
npm is a node package manager. That's what is basically you've just installed Node.js. Now you're saying the package manager. You're basically telling the delivery person that you want to install. The action is going to install or download the -G global flag. So I want to install this everywhere in my system. I want to give this agent access to my entire
ability
system.
to get to the whole thing. Okay.
Yep. So npm install -G, and it's very specific. If you put an extra space in here or use a different character, it's going to error out. So just make sure you type this exactly. All right. See you, Claire. Thanks for coming. And so then.
And Claire, by the way, next week we're going to have you doing this on your machine at home, and then come to my house. I'll send you plane tickets.
There you go. And then the last component is at Google/Gemini-CLI. And that's you're basically telling it to go out onto the internet, go to Google and find this Gemini CLI and install it on your machine.
Nice.
Then you're going to want to go get some coffee because it's going to take a while. This one takes a while to download because you have to download the entire thing. And what this is doing is it's basically taking Gemini and putting it on your local machine, a version of Gemini on your local machine.
Perfect. Okay.
So now you have to authenticate. You still have to give it permission to use your Gemini or your Gmail account.
Let me understand something real quickly, though, before you go any further. So an API key, if I have Google itself, I'm paying my $20 a month. Can it just use that copy of Google? Or do I have to put the API? What is an API?
Yeah, so the application programming interface key is basically if you didn't have a Google account, or your own Gmail tied in, you could go to Google Cloud and get a specific key that you pay for.
So that's your credit card that gives you
this,
that's going to charge you per use kind of thing.
Yeah, per use. And it's actually, for most times, it's actually cheaper to do it that way because if you're paying $20 a month, you get however many prompts you get. You probably hit the ceiling. But if you're paying with the API key,
with Notebook LM, I recently have been hitting the ceiling. Yeah,
but with an API key tied to your credit card, the ceiling is your credit card limit. Right, it'll just keep pulling, but it also costs less. So for the average user, you're probably using less than $20 a month worth of prompts.
Okay.
So you may only be using $12 a month.
Can you say turn off the spigot at $50?
Yeah, in your account, in your cloud account. So you go to Google
you have to
Cloud,
put API credits in there, and you
put your API credits in, and you can either say stop working once I hit this limit, or replenish once I hit this limit. But in any event, you're paying pennies on the dollar. Google is very optimized. So you could have thousands and thousands and thousands of prompts and maybe only use $6.
And you're running this on your device. So are you going up to the cloud to run Nana Banana?
You are authenticating through the cloud. So you're authenticating into your Gemini.
So if I had 1,000 images that I needed to make for Nana Banana, I could throw it a script and leave it over the weekend. Knowing what my upper limit would be.
Yeah. Okay. So once you do this line,
and you're signing in. Okay.
Go do the thing. Download it. Then you're going to open your PowerShell or your terminal, and you're going to just type the word Gemini. And the first time you do it, it's going to say, "How do you want to do this? Do you want to log in with Google and use your $20 a month plan, or do you want to give me an API key and just pay as you go?"
Wow.
And then once you say, "I want to log in with Google," it's smart enough. It's going to pop open your browser because remember, the terminal is what controls everything. So it'll literally just say, "Hey, computer, I need you to open the browser and log into Google." And so it's going to log in and it's going to say, "Do you trust Gemini CLI to use your stuff?" Like, yes. Okay. Then it's going to close that browser and it's going to say, "Okay, you're logged in." And then it's going to use here's the beauty of it. Even if you're not paying $20 a month, you can use Gemini 2.5 free, and you get 1,000 requests a day.
Oh, wow.
60. You get 1 million token window. You get 60 requests a minute or 1,000 requests a day for free. So even if you're not paying the $20 a month, even if you just have a Gmail account that you've never touched Gemini before, you don't have to use the $20 a month plan. You get more. You get the pro and thinking and reasoning more. Which the $20 a month.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if you're watching this and you're like, "Oh gosh, I don't want to pay another $20 a month I already pay $20 a month for Perplexity or ChatGPT." You don't need to pay $1 more.
If you're trying to take your entire family and put them in a dozen different Nana Banana pictures, you can run that puppy probably for free and get enough stuff for your next holiday book slideshow for your trip to Paris you never took. So let me, before we get too much further, how is this comparing to what I just scared the hell out of people about, which is the Lobster Bot thing, right? So you're doing the same thing.
The Lobster Bot, is basically giving the AI access to your entire machine, and it has autonomy. Versus Gemini's agent is call and response. So you're giving it specific direction, and it's going to do that one thing, execute that one thing, and stop. And it's going to check in with you.
So give me 10,000 Nana Banana pictures, and then put them in a folder, and then organize them per person.
And it's going to say, and it's going to think about it and go, okay, I need to go to Gemini. I need in order to do that. I need to. Okay, well, and it's going to come back to you like 5 minutes and say, okay, that's a lot of images. How about we just do 5 to start and tell me what those 5 are? Because you haven't even told me what. I can give you 10,000 images, but before we burn through all your API credits, maybe we should ask what these pictures are, right? So that's the difference. It's going to check in with you, and it's very hard to break it, right?
Gotcha.
And there's a ton of YouTube videos out there about how to use this. So if you want to go down the rabbit hole on this, there's a ton of resources out there on Google on how to work this. So this is just the high level. So let's say now that you're authenticated, your first session, it's going to say, welcome. Do you want dark, light, or high contrast mode? And the one thing to know about Terminal is your mouse doesn't really do you any good. Because Terminal is a interface that predates the mouse, your arrow keys, your keyboard is going to be your best friend. So go left, go right, go up, go down. Yes, your finger exercises. Exactly. But if you need help navigating, all you have to remember is /help.
Okay.
And /help wherever you are after you've set your settings.
Tells you the options.
And you can type hello, who are you, to verify the connection. And it'll say, I'm Gemini and I'm a helpful bot. What can I do for you today? If you want to open the configuration and change your model or change your theme, you can just do a /settings. If you are searching for something that maybe you don't want to share with the world and somebody walks in, you can do a /clear and it'll wipe you.
There goes my grok pictures.
And then /quit to exit, or you could just X out of the
Okay.
So here, now let's talk about some use cases, right? Vibe coding, pixel decode. So if you give it an image and you say, hey, I have an image in this folder and I want you to turn this sketch into a working HTML CSS page. I'm going to drag and drop the image into the terminal and prompt it, and it's going to use Gemini and analyze the visual layout and write the actual files to your hard drive, so you don't have to copy and paste anything.
Okay, I like that.
Hey, Steve-O, welcome in. We're just talking Gemini Command Line Interface and how do you install it and what you can do with it. So it's recorded, so if you want to rewind and go back, it'll be available after the show. But the next use case is the deep researcher. So if you want to read a specific local file, a PDF text or code, you don't have to upload it. You can just say, hey, at report.pdf, summarize the key design trends. And it'll go to that file, read the entire contents of the directory or the file. If you say at folder, then it's going to read the actual contents of the folder. So
is everything you're doing command line, or can I install a voice activated system where I just talk to it like I do in Gemini?
Right now it's command line. It's CLI's command line interface.
Okay.
So it's designed to work. So, but app connects Gemini to your local context. So you can Google search grounding enabled. So
how far
can it
control? Can it run Photoshop for me autonomously if I tell it what to do?
It can do anything that it can do from the command line. It is so what it could do, if you asked it to update an image in Photoshop, what it would probably do is write itself a piece of Python script that would allow it to access and run Photoshop.
Yeah, the Adobe products do use XML documents. XML.
Yep.
Yeah. So you could do a script. I've seen people automate the system of publishing an entire publication. So there's 10,000 pictures and get them all lined up. And as soon as you hit the styles, you say go, and then you come back after lunch and it's a a PDF package up and ready to go out
right.
for publication.
So here's what I'm going to do. Steve-O just joined. So we're just going to do a quick high-level review.
Okay.
Going back to the beginning. Just Steve-O, this one's just for you. What we're talking about doing is running Gemini locally on your machine. It's free. It's easy to install. And it basically converts you from taking the browser chat into a local chat on your computer that can access all your files. So you want to stop chatting about your work and start chatting with your files.
Gotcha.
So it's not a chatbot, it's an agent, and it follows the React protocol. So it's going to reason using Gemini. It's going to read your files. It's going to observe what it's doing, and it's going to refine as necessary. So all you need to know is it runs on node.js, which you can install for free. Then you install Gemini CLI, and you get your output. And so you're like, okay, well, that's all well and good, but I don't know what Node.js is. If you're on a Windows PC, you download it from nodejs.org.
All right.
If you're on a Mac
I could have
OS,
done this part.
Just, download the LTS version from nodejs.org. So when you go onto nodejs.org, it's going to say Windows or Mac, and then it'll allow you to install it. And then once you're in terminal, which is how computers used to be run before Windows and Mac, you just type this line.
And you use your fingers.
And you use your fingers to coordinate.
To do the walk.
And
yeah.
It will, that's Yellow Pages.
Okay.
And so once you install it, you effectively have Gemini on your local machine. And then you type Gemini, you log in with your Google account. But here's what's critical. Even at the free tier, even if you're not paying for Google, you get Gemini 2.5, you get 1 million tokens, you get 60 requests a minute or 1,000 requests a day, even for free.
So let's get to like, what are the biggest things you could do? So a website, you could do some deep research, which you could do in Gemini itself, right? Even voice activated.
Yep. So the asset manager.
Renaming. This is one. Okay.
So you have disorganized files.
Yeah.
Rick, I think I took a screenshot of your actual hard drive here. Look at these images, rename them based on their visual content, and move them into a processed folder. So what it's going to do is it's going to open the file, analyze it, rename it, and put it into a processed folder.
So this could be on your Google Drive because you can access your Google Drive locally, theoretically. Yes. And your Dropbox, perhaps, if you got a local. Mm-hmm. How about your NAS server? So I'm setting up my NAS server with 40 terabytes. If I wanted to just run on that, could I install on that?
Well, yeah, you install it on your local machine because your NAS server is just a virtual hard drive, a network attached storage. So you would install this on your machine that is accessing the NAS server, and then you tell it, go out to the NAS server and edit the files. And as long as you can access the NAS server, it can access the NAS server.
So let me blow my own mind here for just a second. I've got 10 billion pictures of my son and daughter, Ben and Laura. I could go back and say, here's 10,000 pictures, organize them between Ben and Laura, and then put them in chronological age based upon what they look like, baby to 28-year-old.
Yep. And that's one day's worth of prompts.
Right. Okay. I got you. Because it's having to open up every single one and look at it, sort of.
Yep.
And then, so how long would something, if it was literally 1,000 files, let's say, how long might that take? And then it would go through, and if I told it, this is what they looked like in 2010, then it would use that as a chronological age and then date it by the month and the year.
Because those pictures have metadata attached to them,
right?
Gemini can see. It knows what the timestamps are.
The thing about the thing about the metadata is a lot of them were film that I then scanned into digital documents, so it would have a date on them.
Gotcha.
But most of them. But if I go back to my ancient history, so I'm doing Ancestor.com right now, and I'm using Google's new in browser in their Chrome. I'm using that to take a look at my people and then try to go back and research older stories. So I'm telling it the archive for my uncle when he was at Harvard University is here. go research that while I get more information about his death and where he's buried in Belgium. Wow.
So this is something new. This is pro tip context memory. So a markdown file is basically just a text file that is formatted in a specific way that allows the computer to read it easily. Okay. So when you install Gemini, when you do that npm install file, it's actually going to install its own gemini.md folder or file that allows you to give it specific instructions. So now think about this as a Google Gem or a custom GPT. You can tell your AI your specific style for a project. So you can say, you're acting as a senior art director. I want you to use Tailwind CSS. I want you to rename every file with first name _ last name. The agent reads this file automatically every time you open the folder. And so
holy cow.
Store this. If you have a folder of images, you can drop in a Gemini.md file into that folder. And when you open Gemini in that folder, it will read your instructions first.
Okay, I'm going to explain it like a 5-year-old. Let me see if I make sure fact check me on this. I'm a 5-year-old right now. So one of the things I love about ChatGPT is it has project folders. In a project folder, you could put 20 megabytes and 10 documents in there. That becomes the context. So when I'm writing my book called Grok, it's a whole separate context, a brain, specifically the knowledge of all the Grok stuff I've ever written. When I use my children's book, Imagine, it's a separate set of contexts. That's the MD file?
Yep.
Okay. So if it has that, it knows the name of the characters, and then I can make adjustments to that memory database. Is that what MD stands for?
Markdown.
Markdown language. Okay. I can say I change the name to Laura, keep that name going forward. And so that's persistent memory. Where does that get loaded? You got a million context window in Gemini itself. Where does that get stored? So
each time you launch the session, it's considering a clean slate.
Okay.
So every time it does not remember between sessions.
Oh, it's not persistent.
The session itself, it has persistent memory through the Gemini.md file. So
okay.
It will if you tell it to remember that, it'll make itself notes. So the next time you go into Gemini in that folder, it will remember where it left off. But if you go into another folder, then it's going to be like, "Hi, I'm Gemini. How can I help you?"
Yeah. So if I understand this correctly, so ChatGPT. Now, my biggest problem with Gemini, maybe this is a solution, is it doesn't make those folders project folders, or does it? And I just don't know how to do it.
No, it doesn't yet. But this is your workaround for that.
Could I have it go into all of my 10,000 conversations and organize and structure them in some way using this tool?
No, your 10,000 conversations exist on the web. This is working on your local hard drive.
Okay.
So if you downloaded all of those 10,000 conversations onto your hard drive, then you could do it.
Oh, okay. Well, and I'm cloning myself too. So I'm actually doing that by going back to the context window and doing a, what do you call it? A summary of all the content in there. And I've looked in ChatGPT, and you can go and take a look at what it's holding in its recent memory as valuable data. So when I said that I won a Pulitzer for being part of the Miami Herald's public service Pulitzer, then I looked at it, and one time I said I won a Pulitzer, and I can't say that I won one. I was part of the team that won the public service Pulitzer. So I went back and I changed that, and then it said there was a note on that date and time. From now on, never call it a Pulitzer directly, always call it public. So I can amend this memory, and it's not going to have Alzheimer's about making that mistake again, I guess.
Right, exactly. So just
the context window is huge. Okay.
Yeah. So just a few troubleshooting things. If it's having command not found, maybe you have to make sure you check the add to path is checked when you do it. If this is permission denied, you have to use the sudo, the super user do this. And then if you need shell commands, you can toggle shell mode. If that's more of a programming thing, so you not need to worry about that because you can talk to it in plain English. You are now a technical creative. If you install Node.js install Gemini and do your first prompt. The command line isn't a barrier. It is the most direct line between your intent and the machine's intelligence. Do not fear the black box.
Or the lobster overlords.
Right.
So this is not as dangerous as doing it that way, right?
Right. So let me go ahead and share my screen for a second, or stop sharing my screen for a second, because what we're going to do is we're going to look at a real life example. So I've already installed Gemini on my Gemini CLI on my device, on my local device.
Now, would you want to go back and forth and use Gemini to give you instructions of how to do the command line or anything like that? Or like I would pre-prompt an image, for example.
No, once it's installed.
Well, I would, you know, if I can load up a picture of a website, make it like this, but there'd be times when I'd need technical advice. How do I get you or Gemini, a version of you, to kind of help me along with getting stuff done?
You can just go to Gemini.google.com and say, hey, I'm trying to install Gemini CLI. Once it's installed, it works just like Gemini on your. So once you get past the installation, it gets a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead and share this entire window. So what we're looking at here is, and this is on my server, so it's really hard to read, but it says TID server. So this is my NAS.
Yep.
And this is my artificial intelligence folder. So you can see here I have my AI writing. I have music, Suno songs. I have some other stuff. My healthcare appealer app that I vibe coded. It's just a bunch of stuff. But let's say I wanted to see how many Suno songs I made. The old way to do it is I could just type in Suno into the file search bar, and it's going to say, okay, I found a folder called Suno songs. Great. That doesn't give me the answer that I'm looking for. What I can do is I can right click on this folder and I can say open in terminal. So now what that's going to do is it's going to open, and I have to change how I'm sharing so you can actually see this. There we go. Entire window. That's what I wanted. So all I had to do is right click and say open in terminal. And it's going to bring up Windows PowerShell, which is the same as typing in PowerShell, right?
Okay.
But now by right clicking and saying open this folder in PowerShell, look where it is. It's open PowerShell, but it's open PowerShell inside of my folder that I'm currently in. So now all I have to say is Gemini. It's like rubbing the magic lamp to have the genie come out. And it takes a minute to go knock on the door and say, hey, Gemini, you're up. And what it does is once it launches, you see Gemini.
Okay.
And so it says Gemini 3 Flash and Pro are now available. So you can ask questions, edit files, or run commands, be specific for best results, and /help for more information. So what I can do is I can just say, how many Suno songs are in this folder? And what it's going to do, see, it's edited the Gemini.md folder. It's enumerating the songs. It read the folder. It said there are 38 Suno songs in the Suno songs folder.
Okay.
But how many songs are there total? Because I think I have songs in another folder.
Oh, it's like a subfolder. It's
looking through the entire thing, and it's saying, look beyond the Suno folder for any other music files. And so now
it's going to go to your whole hard drive?
No, it's going to look in this folder, but it's looking now at the broader context. I kept saying songs instead of music files. And so now that I said,
okay,
show me music, not songs. Now it's looking at other things, and it's found 51 MP3 and WAV files.
Okay. Now, could you ask it to find the ones with your daughter's name in them or something?
How many were written?
Are there any
about Naomi?
Oh, okay. This is useful.
evaluating the file names, identifying the music files, re-examining, refining the search, reviewing the findings. Based on the file, there are 2 songs, Naomi and Decker's Best Day Ever and Naomi's Day.
Okay, now you got me. For a minute there, I almost lost it because I'm like, so you've got multimodal awareness of those files.
So now you have, so if you see here, we have Otto the Octopus Paints the Sea.
Right.
Which was one of the stories I did for an OpenAI contest a while ago.
Right.
I can say, but you know what? I have an AI writing folder here. I say, move the octopus into the AI writing folder.
Oh, so it doesn't have to do Otto the Octopus Paints the Red Sea.
No, it's just saying, okay, but it's going to find... and it's I'm going to allow. See, it's checking in. It's like, I think I'm going to do this.
Okay.
Yes, I want to allow that. And so now, if you watch, it just disappeared in the background, and it moved it into the AI writing folder.
Beautiful. Okay, now you're getting me. All right. So the things it can do that certainly Gemini couldn't do that. I have used Gemini in now within Google Drive. It's starting to be able to move folders around, summarize them, summarize the whole folder. One time I asked it to list all the files that are duplicates. It selected those and then deleted them. And I said it had to be exact duplicates. So let me make sure that I understand. It's able to look inside. If it were a video, could it find transcript? Could it find a picture of me wearing a hat in 10 videos? Yeah. And tell me which videos the hat was worn in. So it's multimodally aware. Wow. At the root level.
So if I go into my videos folder and I say open in terminal, now I'm here and I say Gemini, come talk to me. These are, so I've got a bunch of stuff here.
Well, you got Kyle's birthday. Is there?
Yep.
Did someone sing a song?
Naomi some words. What is the Naomi video about?
Oh no!
Down by timestamp.
Oh no!
So now I have a video of my daughter making s'mores. It's like a cooking video, cooking demo video.
Oh, okay. That's for your app you were making, right?
Mm-hmm. And so it's gonna find.
Holy cow!
Okay, so yes, you can watch that. Use a tool to analyze the video.
So what tools does it have at its disposal to?
Yeah, it's trying to figure it out, recalling my limitations. It should be able to do this.
You couldn't say, go open Premiere and edit the first 3 seconds out and put a title in there.
So let's say,
at least not yet.
I want you, so it can edit it can edit videos. So the one thing I had it do was all of our shorts that we do for this, I wanted to start adding that end card on.
Okay.
So I gave it the end card and I gave it the videos. I said, can you add this end card to all the videos? And it went through and opened each video, added the end card, saved it out, and exported it out.
What application did it use to do that? Just a QuickTime kind of thing, or?
Yeah, it was just whatever it found
was on there
in its tools.
So does it have access to your tools, meaning that Adobe InDesign? I mean, that's my big thing right now. I'm trying to take my slide
on your computer. It does.
Oh, okay.
So what can you do with these videos? Doing research on the latest memes.
So in the terminal, can you double tap and use audio to type like I do all the time?
I mean, if you have an accessibility thing on your computer where you
that's what I do.
Then yes. So it can list and locate, it can rename, move, copy, or delete. It can look at metadata indirectly using FFprobe, because FFmpeg was the tool that it used to edit the videos. And it can do external tool orchestration. So if you have command line video processing like FFmpeg, I can execute commands for like converting, extracting audio or still frames, trimming or concatenating video.
Wow.
Can you install FFmpeg and extract an image from the Naomi video?
Oh, holy cow. So if you wanted a thumbnail.
Smiling.
Oh, wow. Okay. So if you wanted a thumbnail for our YouTube videos, you could extract it right from the show.
Yep.
Which is something that I want to start to do. So here's my train of thinking that, and I wonder if this is our tool to do it. I want to go on the internet and grab all the X and Facebook and whatever things there are, grab the stories and make a Nana Banana slide for a slideshow about, for example, the ability and make it look like a newspaper or a TV show, drop thumbnail, and then grab the text headlines and write a story. So I'm doing that right now. Like literally that's what I did with last week. I think I said, pick the 5 most emergent stories that what did it just do? I saw it flash.
I just opened a new window while you were talking. I'm just opening another instance of Gemini because you can run multiple versions of it at the same time.
Oh, so we multitask, huh?
So it's over here downloading FFmpeg, and in this folder I can say create a nano banana image of a lobster doomsday device. Make it funny.
Okay, whoa. So all the tools that are in Gemini itself, which includes Nana Banana, they're accessible here?
We're about to find out. It can't create images. It can write, edit, and read text code. So if you had an image, it can edit it. But that's why we explore.
But this is the worst it's ever going to be, as they say in AI terms, right?
Exactly. And for a free tool, not that bad.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what my use cases would be. Definitely, the biggest thing for me is renaming files in sequential order, especially with my book. So I also wanted to look for duplicate copies, which I think I could probably do just with Gemini itself. They're now opening up more capabilities within Google Drive. I think one of the security risks that they were worried about is if it said, here's all duplicate files and somehow it made a mistake, you could wipe out all of your Google Drive. I guess that's why they're going slow.
But you have to give it permission.
Yeah.
So now it's installed. It's installed FFmpeg.
Okay. Play probe. Okay.
And we say, yes, extract something, or extract an image from the time of 000100. I think ChatGPT is on the back foot at the moment. Yes, exactly. So we're going to say, yes, I allow it. They're playing catch up.
Oh, okay.
ChatGPT OpenAI is playing catch up. So now it's trying to find and do all the things. And I didn't check assign to path, so it's not going to work. But you get the idea. It has the ability to edit your
I'm starting to think of, so I'm going back and forth with all these different tools. I've kind of said to myself, Google is where I'm going to invest, because my biggest problem is, unless I'm writing something really profound, then I use Claude for sure. So I go to Perplexity for citations and notations and receipts on data. Go to Notebook for large context window and focusing, and then making images using Nana Banana. Then I'll go, so I've got a tool for each thing basically. And now I've just got another tool that is much, much safer than using Lobster Bot. Don't use Lobster Bot yet, but it's really entertaining. And that's what we wanted to do to you, is basically give you, so you understand like a 5-year-old, and that's me, the 5-year-old. And Brendan, thank you so much for giving us a deep insight into making this easy and usable. And that's our point. We want to have some fun, make life easy and usable for you. And hopefully you're entertained. And
come back next week for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. And we're going to, if you want to be on the show, just email me at rickmccauley@gmail.com. Like, I'm going to put that out there. If you're a single woman who you might think I'm cute, you know how to reach me.
Namaste.
Namaste.